Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. I hope you're doing fantastic this morning. It's fantastic Friday morning. Obviously, a lot earlier than I normally do my shows, but it is what it is. It's what you got to do when you are working. So I work. Currently, it's 10 a.m. for me. I work at 12:30 to 8:30 today, so I couldn't do a show later in the day. But obviously, I have a bunch of news I want to talk about with you guys, and I didn't do shows earlier this week, so I need to pump out some stuff. I need to get these shows going, especially over the weekend. I got a bunch of stuff I would like to do over the weekend, show related anyway. But we'll see. We'll see where I go with that. And then, like I said, starting 10 a.m. today. Well, I'm not sure how long the show will be today, but as always, it will always at least bare minimum be an hour long. While I have you guys here in the chat, let's see. I saw earlier while I was looking for news and stuff that Jeremy from the Quartering. Let's see. I don't typically follow what Jeremy is doing, but apparently. Oh wait, why can't I search it up on? Oh no, I just saw it. There it is. Nope. There it is. Okay. The Quartering. So I guess Jeremy from the Quartering, he wants to have people send him links to their Rumbles. Something different for today's Rumble video stream. We're reviewing small but consistent Rumble channels for highlighting. Submit links below. Obviously, I had to go and throw my link in there. I've criticized Jeremy a lot before, just because I think he does a lot of clickbait and stuff like that. But he does good for the community. And obviously, if I got highlighted by him, that would be really great for my channel. So obviously I'm going to try and do that. So if you guys want to follow me on X, I am Tyler Today News on X or at Tyler Rittenhour. You can go follow me over there and hit that. Go find this tweet. This is the most recent tweet that I posted. Go find it and upvote it. Help me get noticed by the Quartering. Guys, just imagine that. Imagine getting raided by the Quartering. That guy that Joey raided the other day, he got raided by the Quartering, and he's doing pretty good. He's got some consistent viewers. So that's pretty cool. Good for that guy. If I can get it rated by the Quartering, that'd be pretty sick. I'm trying to make this a job, guys. This is already almost a job, considering I did. So I'm just gonna say it. For last month, for Rumble, I got paid. What was it? 260. I think I got paid 260 or 266, something like that. And that's not counting any of the Rumble rants you amazing people send in. Or like that the little bit of money I get for reading ads, that's not included in that total. That $260 is entirely from the Rumble Creator Program. So obviously I'm trying to do more for Rumble, trying to get myself noticed and do more live streams and stuff like that. But I have rambled on more than long enough. Don't you guys agree? You guys agree? Yeah, I figure you would. Is my chat working today? That's what I need to know. Hello, yo. All right. Let's see. What kind of news do we want to talk about today? What kind of news stories do I have pulled up? I was supposed to pull up an article about this. Okay, let's see. Well, Nick Sortor has this clip, so let's just play the clip and then I'll find an article on it. So Nick Sortor posted this yesterday in the afternoon. This is actually towards the end of my show that he posted this. Just in, an unhinged leftist was caught on camera spitting on D.C. U.S. Attorney Ed Martin. She just assaulted a U.S. official. I hope she's ready for $50,000 in legal fees and prison time. So let's actually watch this clip. Can I zoom in here? Let's see. There we go. How does that look on stream? It would look a lot better if I moved to the presentation window. There we go.
So we need to get really focused.
You are Martin.
How you doing? Whoa.
Yep, just do that on camera.
So we need to get.
Yep, just assault someone on camera. There you go.
Just for the record, I'm up.
Whoa, you just pull yourself up like that? That's crazy. I am joined by Mad Stork. He had to take care of some things before I pulled him up. Are those things taken care of, Mad Stork?
No, I messaged you on Discord. The guy's pretty much going to show up whenever he wants to. So yay!
Yay! Between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I will need to go abruptly. That's fair. Mad Stark will be mid-sentence and he'll be like, gotta go.
Son of a... No,
So,
I've got the window open, so whenever the guy shows up, at least I can see him. It'll give me like a 2-3 minute, head start on. I gotta go.
So, all right. So this Ed Martin guy. Let's see. So he's a what is it? U.S. attorney. So U.S. attorney Ed Martin. I'm trying to find an article about him getting spat on. Looks like there's a bunch of articles about him getting pulled out of the nomination for what was it? Trump pulls the nomination of Ed Martin for DCUS attorney after concerns of partisanship. So that was this story came out yesterday. That's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I don't see anything about him getting spat on because that is technically what is that? That's assault, right?
Yep, qualifies as assault.
Yeah, and you literally did it while. How stupid do you have to be to see that like a politician you don't like is doing a news interview on camera, and you walk up and you're like, "Yeah, let me just spit on this guy while he's literally on camera."
Well, it just kind of goes to the broader sense of these people aren't really thinking. They don't think their actions are actually worth anything, and so they think they should be void of consequences.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially yeah. And
So,
so we'll move on. There's a lot of war, a lot of war going on right now, huh? What do you think about that? You think the war is going to escalate? You think Pakistan and India? You think they're going to calm down?
I've seen so many memes over this in the last couple of days. I'm not even sure what's appropriate to say and not anymore. I've,
Yeah,
I've, I've got friends who are in India. I've got friends from India. I've even know someone who's Pakistani. And my opinion of it is, if we're going to come down on one side of that war, it should be with the Indians. But I don't think we should be involved or anywhere near there. I
yeah.
think we should just let them do what it is they want to do.
Yeah, I'm really glad you say that because JD Vance, our vice president, also agrees. Let me pull up this video here. U.S. stays out of Indo-Pac tensions. U.S. VP JD Vance walks away while asked on rising tensions between India and Pakistan, citing it's fundamentally none of their business and has nothing to do with America's ability to control it. Hard time for Pakistan as major powers isolate the terror funding nation.
Yep.
So let's watch this clip. You had something to add?
No, I'm mostly just saying that one of those is decidedly chosen to treat us as an enemy, and so I have little to no interest in actually being on their side. And the other one has basically facilitated so many financial scams on the United States. It's ridiculous. So I don't really necessarily find ourselves allied with India. I'm not really against India. I think they should do more to be in compliance with the first world before they try to make a move to being first world. And that's really all I've got to say on that. I have no other opinion on this as long as they don't fire a nuke. If they fire a nuke, then I'm going to be a little pissed off.
Well, what I found really interesting about this, because this kind of seems like it came out of nowhere, and then it's just been escalating, right? They had that terror attack, and then ever since then, it's the tensions have been
Well,
devolving.
those of us who've been paying attention to this, or I guess that region for a very long time,
Uh,
this isn't coming out of nowhere. We all knew this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen likely before 2030. We knew it was likely going to be in retaliation to some sort of terrorism attack, that they were going to screw with the water. And once they screwed with the water, that's why the international community got them to sign these treaties about access to water, was because we knew this was coming.
yeah,
And as soon as they started, as soon as a terrorist went in there and started killing people, sure enough, India started cutting off the water, and
and
then they
water's
decided
gone.
this was a bad idea.
Well, so
So,
what I found interesting, because someone brought up this point yesterday. I forget if it was on Timcast or on the After Dark show. But they brought up the point that it's really interesting that this war is now breaking out. This certainly only serves to what is it, benefit China, right? We're trying to
yep.
move a lot of our stuff over to India, and oh no, all of a sudden India's in a massive war with a nuclear power. Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah,
just a little
and
interesting.
India, or sorry, both India and Pakistan actually have ties to China.
Hmm.
So it's not that it's more sus from one of them than the other. They're both sus with China,
Okay.
and so it's It would not surprise me if one day it came out that China was both like trying to get them to start a terrorist attack and trying to get India to start a war with them at the exact same time. It wouldn't shock me at all if I found that out.
Right. Yeah.
So,
No. I just found it interesting because what's called we have all those tensions going on with China. I mean, because you brought it up yesterday. Was there something you wanted to add on the movie tariffs or any of the other tariffs that we've got going on with China?
no. I mean, the movie tariffs are a whole other thing, unrelated. We'll talk about that soon. I do actually have to go for just 2 seconds. I'll be right back on the audio. 1 second.
Okie dokie. Well, I wanted to watch this clip with Mad Stork, but I guess he has to step away, so that's unfortunate. But we'll go ahead and play this clip while we're waiting for him. So let's see.
Ultimately can't make any more progress.
And then you would walk away.
We would.
All right. You were in India recently, and there was some feeling that might lead to one of the trade agreements announced. And we just heard the UK agreement with the United States.
Sure.
How concerned is the administration about the potential for nuclear war between India and Pakistan?
Well, look, we're concerned about any time nuclear powers collide and have a major conflict. What we've said,
The audio is like not synced with their lips, and it is messing with me hard.
Secretary Rubio said, and certainly the president has said, is we want this thing to de-escalate as quickly as possible. We can't control these countries, though. Fundamentally, India has its gripes with Pakistan. Pakistan has responded to India. What we can do is try to encourage these folks to de-escalate a little bit, but we're not going to get involved in the middle of war that's fundamentally none of our business and has nothing to do with America's ability to control it. You know, America can't tell the Indians to lay down their arms. We can't tell the Pakistanis to lay down their arms. And so we're going to continue to pursue this thing through diplomatic channels. Our hope and our expectation is that this is not going to spiral into a broader regional war or, God forbid, a nuclear conflict. But sure, we're worried about these things. But I think the job of diplomacy, but also the job of cooler heads in India and Pakistan, is to make sure this doesn't become a nuclear war. If it happened, of course, it would be disastrous. Right now, we don't think that's going to happen.
All right, let's talk about the U.S. economy as some of your colleagues are heading to Switzerland to try to work a deal with China.
Okay, I don't know why in this clip they decided to add the next question because it looks like it's going to be cut off in 8 seconds. They could have just cut the video there, but it's fine. I'm going to hang out till I got to clock in. Sounds good, Tactical Tinkerer. Hello, and hello, The Real Felony. I said your name correct today, I hope. But no, this is good from JD Vance. I don't want involvement. I don't want to be involved on the side of Pakistan. I don't want to be involved on the side of India. I could not care less what goes on over there. The only thing I'm worried about is war. I just don't want more war. We have enough war on the world stage. Winner. We have enough war on the world stage at this point, though. And Tim's brought it up. I've brought it up. At what point do you call it a civil war, or not civil war, but at what point do you call it a world war? Because there's conflict in Ukraine, there's conflict in India, Pakistan, there's conflict in Israel, Palestine, Iran, Yemen. At what point do you call it a world war? Do we need to go to Africa? Do we need to have some wars popping off in our part of the planet? We need to start, screw it. I'm here for world war. All these countries need to start going to war. China needs to invade Taiwan, and while everyone's preoccupied, we should invade Mexico. That's the real solution here, guys. The real solution is we just go along with it. We just go along like, yeah, everyone wants war. Everyone's down for war. Let's just go and take Mexico. I'm down for it. Bro, why are you live at 1? Should be live at 2:30 so I can get the quartering to raid you at 25K people. Live at 2:30. You should be live at 2:30 so I can get the quartering to raid you at 25K people. Pat the Plumber, if you're watching, man, I tweeted him. Here, I got to respond. Man, I tweeted him, and I have to work soon. Yep. Sorry, buddy. I know. I can't just call out of work to get a maybe raid from the quartering, no. Matt Stork said that the guy just showed up, so he's got to deal with that. Africa has always been at war. I mean, that's fair. But I mean, like, actual world powers going into conflict there. Like, seriously, at what point, like, how many more wars need to get started before we're like, all right, yeah, World War III has begun. We have all these different conflicts all over the world. Everyone is in political strife. Like, just at what point? At what point do we need one more? Like, we're at 3 major wars. We need one more major war for it to be a world war. Like, I don't know. I've been calling it World War III since basically Ukraine, just because literally half the planet, if not more, is involved in the Ukraine Russia stuff, whether it's giving arms or intel. So World War III, in my opinion, started a while ago. It's just, when is the media and when is all the normies going to start calling it World War III? Because I've been calling it that. It is World War. The world is at war, and the world is blowing up. I don't know if I don't know much about the Pakistan India stuff in regards to whether or not they'll escalate. Like I said, I certainly hope they won't. I don't want to see nukes being dropped anywhere. I don't want people dying needlessly for stupid BS wars. I mean, how did this Pakistan stuff start initially? Right, it was that with this most recent conflict, it was with that terrorist attack that I covered. That terrorist attack I covered was absolutely insane. They were going around to these different Indian dudes, and they were literally asking them to recite Muslim verses and Muslim prayers. And if they were unable to do so, they were executed on the spot. So, I mean, that shit's absolutely insane. And if that ever happened to someone in our country, then yeah, I'd be open to war as well. But I've said that repeatedly. Like, if we had an attack on our soil, to the extent like India suffered, or like October 7th in Israel, yeah, that I think that would convince a majority of people that are anti-war to now be pro-war. And it's unfortunate. I don't want to move off this topic because I know Mad Stork wanted to talk about it. We'll go back to it. What I also want to talk about, we're still talking about. Hello, Ale. We're also going to talk about. Let's see. I want to talk about this because this is pretty cool. I mean, it's not cool. It's just an interesting story. India, Pakistan, 125 jets clash in one of the largest dogfights in recent history. Some 125 Indian and Pakistani fighter jets battled for over an hour in one of the biggest dogfights in recent history. If the numbers of aircraft were confirmed, it would make it one of the largest air battles since World War II. Newsweek has reached out to the Indian and Pakistani government for government for comment. Sorry. The scale of the dogfight on Wednesday underscores the intensity of the conflict between the two nuclear-armed rivals, both of which possess some of the world's largest conventional military forces, and highlights the implications of any further escalation should diplomatic efforts fail to ease tensions that erupted after an attack on tourists in India-administered Kashmir. So what to know? The dogfight between Pakistani and Indian fighter jets, which Pakistani officials say downed 5 Indian planes, was one of the largest and longest in recent aviation history. Let's see, a total of 125 fighter jets engaged in an hour-long aerial battle, with both sides confined to their own airspace as long-range missiles were exchanged at distances surpassing 100 miles. Wow. Indian pilots made multiple passes at targets, while Pakistan issued warnings in areas it believed were at risk to minimize civilian harm. Neither side crossed the border, the source said, citing a 2019 clash when an Indian pilot was shot down, captured in Pakistan, and paraded on television. An embarrassment both militaries were keen to avoid repeating. Air-to-air combat has shaped warfare since the early 20th century and has determined some of the most pivotal moments in modern military history. So that is crazy. Imagine 125 jets up in the air. You should look into Sarah Adams, former CIA targeter, claiming 1K plus jihadis in the U.S. I mean, I've seen numbers like that before. We saw a lot of numbers like that during the Biden administration in terms of gotaways. There were a lot of possible terrorist gotaways. So that number could be a lot higher, to be completely fair. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Tinkerer, and I think that number's low, which is scary. But no, the story's crazy. Just think about, so they were shooting at each other from over 100 miles apart. That's just the range on these missiles. And Pakistan is claiming that they downed 5 Indian jets. So that's also interesting. But neither one of them crossed the border. So they're literally 100 miles apart, flying around on their side of the border, launching missiles across the sky at each other. That's insane. Yeah, I don't know where this goes. I don't know what the solution is to India, Pakistan. Obviously, I'm going to keep updating it, updating the story as we go along. But I mean, the world's at war, man. The world is at war. Can anyone give me an argument as to how I can't as to why I can't call this world war? I don't know. Anyway, what other stories do I have? Let's see. See, I don't want to segue too hard. I mean, I've got a bunch of war stories relating to just the wars that we have going on. Let's see, what time is it? Damn, I'm already 21 minutes in. What the hell? Watch. So Ryzen 3080 on Twitch. He said, watch first post channel. Pakistan attacks India region. India again. Yeah, I was trying to look for more stories. I just pulled up the jet one because that one was this one's pretty insane. I mean, 125 jets clash in a dogfight in the air. Like the article was saying, we haven't seen that in a very, very long time, especially in modern history. So it's interesting. I found the story interesting. But yes, Ryzen, you are completely correct. There's a bunch of people. They are like spamming drones right now. Yeah, I have another story from Ukraine as well, talking about drones. Let's see. So this is an interesting story as well. I guess I'll segue over to this one, and then we can go back to this when Mad Stork is ready to come back. They are like spamming drones right now. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, drone warfare is warfare of the future. They're incredibly fast and they're hard to take down. They've had to make new weapons just to take down, drones and stuff because of how hard they are to actually hit. So Army Secretary says U.S. can't keep pumping money into expensive weapons that can be taken down by an $800 Russian drone. So this was an issue. This has been an issue throughout history, human history, right? A lot of governments and a lot of world powers think that if they have the most expensive, most high tech gear or equipment, they're guaranteed to win the war. They just need 300 dudes with the best equipment, best armor, best everything, right? But what they don't consider is that you may have 300 of the most outfitted dudes, but what does the enemy team have? Well, they have 2,000 to your 300, and sure, they may have not even half as good of equipment, but the sheer numbers alone are going to overwhelm you. And that's happened in, I believe, World War II, with what was it, with Russia and Germany, right? Germans were making high tech tanks, expensive equipment, and Russia was just pumping crap out. And they were like, just go find your equipment on the battlefield. They were making terrible weapons and stuff like that. Hello, Matt Stork. So yes, this has been an issue throughout history. We make these big, expensive toys, and then the enemy finds out a nice, cheap way to get rid of our very expensive toy. So yeah, obviously we can't just keep pumping money into Ukraine. I'm against that anyway. But it's really funny to see that Russia's just using cheap equipment to take down some of this stuff. And hello, Ariano Throwaway. Hello, do you read chats? Yes, I do read chats. I try to read them. It's just sometimes I go on a long spiel. But we're just talking about war in general right now, Matt Stork. I know you wanted to comment on the JD Vance stuff. I played that clip.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, you're okay. You gotta get rid of all the bugs. Get rid of the bugs.
Well, actually, occasionally I get some, I guess, consulting calls, I guess, would be a good way to do it. And that's actually what happened a second ago. But while I was in the middle of that, the bug guy came. So,
well, there you go. Well, so yeah, we were just talking about JD Vance and how it's really good to see comments by him saying that we're just going to stay out of it. We have nothing to do with it. We're going to continue to not have anything to do with it.
Yep.
And then I went on to talk about the 125 jets clashing in one of the largest dogfights in recent history. Yep. I read the article. Dude, they were shooting at each other from 100 miles away. They didn't. Neither side crossed the border.
Correct.
That's funny. It's not funny, but it's crazy to think about how the largest dogfight in history, recent history, and they're not even crossing each other's border. They're just launching missiles from 100 miles apart.
Well, the crazy thing about that, though, is they're both using outdated tech. Like neither of these countries have like a new, sixth generational warfare fighter. They're both basically using fighters from like the 70s and 80s that
Yeah.
we've either sold or somebody else has sold. I think Pakistan has gotten theirs from Russia and China.
Yeah, they got
And
hand-me-down. They got hand-me-down
yeah,
equipments.
they got hand-me-down equipment. So literally the fighters that you see like in the original Top Gun is what they're using for those.
Wow.
Like
Yeah,
not even a joke.
and we had people in the chat talking about Pakistan's attacking India again. And let's see. Pakistan has 82% stuff from China. Interesting. MiG 21s in India.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, they're not. I knew they weren't using updated stuff. Tim was talking crap about their equipment last night because he's like, it's hard to make thumbnails for the war going on with Pakistan and India because neither one of their soldiers look cool. they look like they just showed up to work.
No, I mean that's legitimately what it is. The standing armies aren't exactly well respected, I guess is a way to put it. It's not that they're nothing kind of thing. It's just they're not exactly what we would consider a modern infantry or army.
Well, yeah, you look at
those things.
You look at Ukraine, Russia. That's modern warfare right there. That's mostly, you know what I mean. We're still using old equipment. No one wants to bring out the big fancy toys yet. That's what I keep telling people too, Matt Stork. Like, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think what I'm most excited for when World War III is finally popping off is all the badass technology we're gonna have released into the world.
Everybody finally admits that they have this, that, and everything else.
Oh yeah, we're finally gonna be like, oh yeah, the U.S. government was the one with all the Tic Tac UFOs. We're gonna just fly over your country in a millisecond and drop a nuke if you don't shut the fuck up. Like, yeah, or not even a nuke. We'll just have like a completely new weapon.
Okay, so one of the reasons that Russia builds big is because Russia can't build a lot. Does that make any sense?
Russia builds big because they can't build a lot.
Yeah, let me explain that. Let me defend that statement. When in the United States, we build 100 bombs before lunch. Like we have the manufacturing capacity to build a shit ton of bombs in a very short amount of time. So we have the industrial capacity to build a lot of bombs, but Russia has the industrial capacity to build one really big bomb.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So they don't build a lot, they build big. And so when it comes to something like the Tsar bomb, for example, they developed that because they knew they weren't going to be able to match our sheer number of output. But if they just build one really, 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 really big bomb and make sure it works really well, they're fine.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's essentially what's going on there. So Russia likely does have some interesting toys, but they probably only have like 1 or 5, maybe 10 of those.
But that's what I mean. Like, that's what I'm most excited for if a world war pops off. Is like, just think about all the Manhattan projects of the modern day from all these different countries.
There's a crazy jet that they made that like people have still been running through like modern like computer simulators and stuff like that. Can this thing fly? If it flies, like what's the top speed? What's the theoretical limit of this aircraft, right? And apparently Russia only ever built one of them. It was a prototype. It flew really like one time, and then they released a whole bunch of pictures of it because they knew that it would be more effective as a propaganda tool than it would be in any war front because they couldn't mass produce it.
Nice.
Yeah.
But like, for example, right? I remember this article and I can't find it anymore. I've tried to find it multiple times. I feel like if I bring it up, you're going to find it in like 5 seconds though. But what's called that there was this article that NASA had posted, and they were talking about how they were trying to discover how to travel faster than the speed of light. And while they were trying to just figure out how to do that, they accidentally discovered a technology that creates basically a bubble that would prevent whatever's inside the bubble from all gravitational forces. So basically, you can fly at 500 miles an hour and then take a 90-degree right turn, and it'll feel, everything in the bubble will feel like it never even turned.
Yeah, it's the spacecraft in warp bubble could travel faster than light, claims physicist, and it deals with that. Yeah, I did pull up in 2 seconds. You're welcome.
I told you. I knew it. I knew it would happen. But see, technology like that doesn't get talked about a lot.
Yep.
If that it were to be put into use, the military implications of that would be insane. So and that's what I mean by, like, when we see all these UFOs. I don't believe in aliens. I think if aliens are real, they're going to be microscopic. They're going to be bacteria. We already have seen some of that on other planets.
Yep.
I don't think there's intelligent life out there. And if there is, we should be incredibly scared, because just look at what humans do to other species that aren't as intelligent as us. The things that we see nowadays that are supposed to be evidence of aliens, like the Tic Tacs, UFOs, and stuff like that, that's just government technology. I fully believe that's government technology that's classified beyond classified. We'll learn about it once a real threat to the United States actually comes about.
Well, you understand. You understand some of the things like was it the dark forest problem or the three Barty problem and stuff like that? Have you ever heard of these?
I've heard of them, but I could not articulate.
Essentially, if a greater civilization than us exists in space, they would want to conceal their existence by creating essentially a dark forest where essentially something doesn't exist. So they would have to have technology great enough to hide their existence in the universe. And then you don't want to be the first one found, because if you're the first one found, then you're more likely to be attacked. So you essentially want to keep your existence hidden from any advanced civilization in the universe. So all of these things that we've done, like sending out probes with like location of where we are and all of these like radio frequencies we beam out into space, they're essentially, if there is a society more advanced than us that could read those things or pick those things up, we're fucked.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've said that if there's a intelligent species out there that has mastered the ability to travel through the stars and other galaxies, we're screwed. What do you think they're going to do to us? We would be ants to them.
Well, it's the idea that we're already screwed because they would already know where we are because we don't exist in a dark forest situation.
Well, and like you said, we're basically a shining beacon for the entire universe. Like, hey, we're over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, I don't know. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But how do you feel about JD Vance and his comments, though? Because I know you wanted to talk about that. I'm sure you appreciate it. You appreciate him coming out and saying this, right?
Do you want me to talk about what it is that I was talking about that I plan on making a video about eventually? Is that what you're trying to get me to do, Tyler?
You're going to make a video?
Yeah. I've got a couple of ideas for videos that people just don't talk about because I hear like the anti-Israel thing. And the reason that I bring this up, and it will make sense in a second. I know people get mad at me because I bury the lead and et cetera kind of thing. But the reason that I'm bringing this up is essentially like, and I linked you to the thing about it. Depending on which country you are polling or, just talking to, essentially, one religion in the world is between 15 and 60% okay with suicide bombing. Or I'm sorry, we're on other platforms. Okay, with self-deletion attacks.
Self-immolation attacks?
Self-deletion attacks.
I can't say immolation either.
Extreme self-deletion attacks.
Okay.
Yeah, in a very
fiery self-deletion,
fiery immolation attack.
Yeah, 30% of a certain religion are cool with it, right?
Yeah, basically 30 to 60%, depending on the country you're polling, is 100% okay with you just doing that under certain circumstances. And in that particular situation, do you want to be allied with a country where like 5% dislike you? Or like 40% is okay with self-deletion attacks of violent self-immolation?
Sounds like we should open our borders right now.
I think I would rather ally ourselves with the one country over there that basically is what I'm going to refer to as, and I've thought about this quite a bit, It's basically our tank. If you're familiar with like an RPG like scenario where you have like the mage
Are you
and the
saying
archer.
Israel is our tank?
Yes, Israel is over there tanking the entire Middle Eastern world from people who are okay with violent,
Someone
immediate,
tag Joey. I need Joey in on
explosive
this.
self-deletion. Yeah, please bring Joey. I've wanted to have this conversation with Joey for a bit.
No, that it would make for a great conversation. Because
But I think that's what it is. And so we're talking about India, which is, I guess, our off tank now. They're our off tank. They're over there tanking possible violent, immediate self-immolation. And so I'm perfectly okay with them tanking that damage for us as we sit back here as we are. I don't know what exactly we are in the RPG scenario. I guess we are the tank mage, but
no, we're the we're not an RPG game though, Mad Stark. We're in the Hunger Games, dude. We're the capital city. We're just sending all of our districts to go and fight with each other.
yes, and we're okay with that.
Absolutely, I'm here in the capital city.
If I have to sit here and say which of the districts do I prefer, it's the one where only 5%, 5 to 10% of them dislike us moderately. That's Israel.
I mean, I ranted about that yesterday a little bit because I try to avoid making comments on the Palestine and Israel conflict because it's like I don't care. But I finally went off yesterday and I basically was like, both sides are fucking stupid. Both sides have issues.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. Both have issues. Our tank is obviously taking some self-inflicted injury with some of their actions. They're pulling too much aggro. They're trying to do a full dungeon run essentially with all the mobs on them at one time. And there is no reason for them to do that. They need to be more selective.
They think they could tank the boss and their minions at the same time. They just can't.
Yeah, I'm just saying they need to delegate some of the damage a little bit. But I'm being serious. I mean,
no. Wait, that's an amazing segue. You don't understand how that's an amazing segue. Trump, Israel won't drag us into war with Iran, but we'll lead the pack if no deal is made.
Yep. Because once your tank commits, you have to commit with them.
Tactical Tinker said, yes, we had it wrong. Hunger Games was about globalism.
I'm being serious, though. Look at that statement from Donald Trump. And if your tank commits to a mob, you have to commit to the mob.
Absolutely. And so I was reading a bit of this article. I'll read it a bit here. U.S. President Donald Trump said he would not be dragged by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu into war with Iran, but vowed Washington could instead be leading the pack if diplomacy were to fail and joint U.S. military action is necessary to thwart Tehran's nuclear program. The U.S. president, who reiterated his hope for the issue could be resolved through negotiations, also expressed openness to meeting with the Islamic Republic supreme leader or president. Trump made the comments on Monday in a wide-ranging Time magazine interview published Friday. During the interview, Trump predicted Saudi Arabia would very quickly normalize relations with Israel and blamed Gaza's recent death toll on his predecessor, Joe Biden, because he took off all the sanctions on Iran, enabling it to finance the Palestinian terror group Hamas. The interview also saw Donald Trump say Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky understands that the Crimea Peninsula, annexed by Moscow in 2014, would stay with Russia as part of the potential agreement between the two countries. The comment was published shortly before Witkoff was set to meet with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. It's funny they're both Vladimir in the Kremlin as part of the Ukraine-Russia truce talks. It just goes on to talk about how I talked about this briefly last week. Israel came to the United States and was like, "Hey guys, let's go do like a joint attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. You guys down for that?" And the United States was like, no, we're kind of in the middle of negotiating with them here." And Israel is like, "Oh."
I just realized that I had the wrong audio selected for all of this, so I hope my audio just improved.
If anything, it got worse. It's got like crackles.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shite.
Sorry.
Okay. need to do a check on this next time before I get started and stuff. But seriously,
Fuck
the
it,
whole
who live?
matches the allegory or metaphor just way too well with the whole tanking and everything else.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. There's really no
Well, that's
question.
why I was like, oh, it's a perfect segue because it's like this is perfect.
Yep.
Because I mean, yeah, Israel clearly wants to go to war with Iran. They've been wanting that for a while now. And like I've been repeatedly saying, the only reason they're pushing so heavily into this war narrative is because they know they have Papa United States behind their back if anything really were to get too hot.
Yeah, they know they have their damage dealer behind them.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I could sit here and tank all these hits because if things did get too serious, I would have the United States come in. Or if that didn't work, I would drop a bunch of nukes.
Yeah, basically.
So Israel knows what they're doing, and they want expansionism and war.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean,
I'm glad we covered this. I mean, is there really any other questions?
For real. The only thing I'll say left on this is I don't like Donald Trump's comments about this, saying that we would lead the pack in a joint strike. But I fully understand why he's saying that. You can't take that off the table because during negotiations, you take that off the table and then you go to Iran and you're like, oh, hey, need to negotiate this deal. Then you're like, fuck you, pussies. You're not going to do anything. I know I'm on YouTube. I don't care. YouTube doesn't pay me. Rumble does. So yeah, no, that's essentially what Iran would do. So I fully understand why Trump is saying this. Like, oh, we would lead the pack in a strike, but I hope we can negotiate first. It's because it's a negotiation tactic. He knows Iran's going to read those comments and be like, oh crap. He might be serious. He might be serious about doing a joint strike with Israel. Maybe we should make a deal.
Here's the problem, though, with people who are in Iran. Some of them actually sit there and go, we'd like to see him try. We'd like to see, he thinks he could. There are people over there.
Oh, I know.
Who are so dumb that they are willing to risk it for the biscuit.
Well, and that's why he's dropped, drone strikes on certain people. Who was it, Soleimani?
Yeah.
It's why he's dropped drone strikes on people like that. He hasn't done one yet for his presidency, but I feel like we've got a drone strike coming soon. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to wake up one morning and there's going to be some news be like, Iran's supreme leader drone struck. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be that serious, but you know what I mean? Like
I know. It's a matter of like
when
people over there are going to FAFO, and once FAFO has been completed, regret what it is that they were saying.
Yeah. FAFO is followed by much regret on both sides.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Both sides experience FAFO. Anywho, did you want to add anything on it's called we did talk about it briefly, but before we move on, did you want to talk about how funny it is that Russia is using $800 drones to take out like tanks and shit?
I wish that you weren't on YouTube. I'll put it that way. I wish you weren't on YouTube because there's a video that I've seen, and I'd have to find it again. I don't have it saved or anything, but there's a video I've seen of a column of tanks and an APC and a communications vehicle and something else, and they're all on their way to some Ukrainian defensive position, and they're going to like take it out. And literally, there is a surveillance drone flying overhead from Ukraine, and it shows literally like 8 or 9 drones take off from a field near where this base is, okay? And they literally just all take off at once, and they fly in, and one of them drops a grenade from real high on the tank, I think it kind of lands in front of the tank, so it's not precision guided or anything. Yeah. But the tank stops, obviously. And all of these things now we're trying to figure out where the drones are and everything else. And right around the time that they start figuring out where the drones are, you see 2 giant explosions on the tank. And then everybody else is trying to like get around and stuff. And the vehicle that's in the rear, one of the drones lands on it and explodes as well. So now they've got it boxed in, and the next vehicle up is the APC. And the APC is the next one to basically just get completely obliterated with another grenade. Now you've got a communications vehicle and something else trying to basically bug out because they're stuck and they don't have any support anymore. And There's still 7, no, not 7, probably 4 or 5 of these drones left. And, one of them kind of blows up on the surface of this communications vehicle. The next one, like, basically hits it dead on, and black smoke just starts going up out of it. And it's just like each of these drones probably cost $800, or not even $800, probably $80 a piece. There's 10 of them. So we'll
Strap
say,
like $300 of explosives on it.
yeah, you drop 300, so it's $800, $300 of explosives. We're talking about $1,200. Let's even double it, okay? Let's pretend that, because there is a surveillance drone going up over top of it. So let's say that this entire operation cost them $50,000, and they just took out
Hundreds of thousands of dollars
hundreds
of
of
equipment.
millions of dollars worth of equipment, plus an
Yeah.
entire, who knows how many soldiers in the APC.
And that's what I was talking about when you stepped away. We had that issue in World War II, right?
Yeah.
Germany was building all the biggest, most advanced equipment, just crazy high tech stuff, right? And then Russia was just like, machine go burr, just make shit, It's just
Yeah, but are you familiar with the sticky grenade of U.S. soldiers during World War II, World War I and II, I think, actually?
No.
So they would literally take socks, dip them in oil and tar, and then they would run up to the side of these tanks on the side of the tank tracks, and the bomb would, or the grenade, actually, the improvised grenade at that point, would stick to one of the tank tracks, and then it would explode on the side of the tank. So it's let's call it a $1 million tank at that time. I think it was much less. Let's call it a $400,000 tank. Before inflation, it was probably a $400,000 tank.
Yeah.
Versus
a sock
$40
grenade.
Of stuff.
Yeah, a sock grenade.
A sock grenade. It was literally a grenade inside of a sock covered in tar.
Yep, that's amazing.
And
that was my point earlier when you stepped away. Is like, yeah, you could have all the biggest, fanciest stuff, but if it can get taken out by a $20, countermeasure, it's fucking useless. So
yeah.
It's crazy. I think that was one of the scariest things in the Ukraine-Russia war. From the videos that I've seen, is the drone warfare. It's drone warfare over there is so prevalent, and it's terrifying, man. You see those videos of soldiers sitting in the trenches, and they're all laying down trying to camouflage the best they can, as you hear the drones buzzing above them, waiting to drop a grenade.
Yeah,
it's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying, and it's incredibly cost efficient to do that.
Yeah, they actually, I'm looking it up now. They literally, apparently, halfway through the war, figured out that was the best way to deal with the tanks. So They started building grenades specifically modeled after the sock.
Nice.
I'm not even joking. Like they were just like, man, this is really effective, but we're losing too many socks.
Amazing.
We have to come up with a new way to do this.
Amazing. I have some other stories. We've got about 15 minutes left. Did you have anything else to add on this before we move on?
No. Nothing other than he who is able to. What is it? The rules for radicals. For radicals, Wikipedia. Hold on. This is going to be great.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, wait. A good tactic is one that your people enjoy.
A good tactic is one that your people enjoy. There you go.
There's nothing better than taking. There's nothing better than taking a $20 piece of solution and applying it to a $500 million problem.
Oh, what's going on with Rumble?
No idea.
Ooh, I'm getting a 500 service unavailable when I try to pull up Rumble.
I have absolutely no idea.
You're
still live on my end on Studio.
I'm still live, but it won't let me pull up Rumble. Hang on.
I'm checking the.
I think it's my computer. I think my computer's having issues.
Yeah,
that's weird.
I also hit one at some point, so I had a weird thing on my screen for a second. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, my computer just does not want to load Rumble right now. That's weird. As long as we're still alive, then I guess it's
I
fine.
think we're still live. You're showing us live.
It says people are watching. So if people are okay, there now things wanted to load. Okay. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so it loads my channel, but when I try to click the video, because I like have my video up in another tab, it won't let me do it. That's weird. I had it and I refreshed it, and then when I refreshed it, it won't work. It's fine. We'll move on. Next story I wanted to talk about is James O'Keefe. I love me some James O'Keefe. James is one of the best reporters of our time. Like Tim said last night, absolute legend. This guy. Between this story with Pam Bondi and the story with Prince Andrew and the royal family advisor, I mean he's going pretty hard the past week with these stories. 2 Epstein stories in the same week, Matt Stork. That's pretty solid,
Isn't
right?
he releasing another one today or Monday?
Is he?
I think he is.
Wow, dude. So yeah, no, O'Keefe is going hard. Love to see it. I was gonna play this video, which will probably take up us reacting to it. Probably take up the remainder of the time. So let's go ahead and react to this. Tim played it on his show last night. Have you seen this video yet, Stork?
I've seen like tiny little snippets, but not the whole thing.
So just to break it down, essentially, Pam Bondi came out and gave us an actual number as to how much child pornography evidence they currently have in their possession. And she talked about how they have people currently going through it. And James O'Keefe was like, that's great. That's great that she's finally saying that. If only she didn't tell all of this information to a random stranger at a restaurant a week prior. And then he shows what we're about to play the video, but he shows a video recording of Pam Bondi saying the exact same thing about a week prior. He emails her and basically forces her to go public with it before he does.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and play the clip of what actually happened.
Yesterday, Attorney General of the United States Pam Bondi was at the White House and disclosed what she represented as brand new information in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, the existence of tens of thousands of videos featuring little children.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, this is the first time an official has publicly acknowledged that videos of Epstein and his victims exist. What you may not know is just 9 days prior, the Attorney General had a very similar conversation with a total stranger in a restaurant.
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been.
Okay.
So,
any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tons and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
In the past, officials have spoken about the, quote, mountain of evidence in the Epstein case, but they've never, previous to that moment, acknowledged on the existence of videos of, quote, little kids. Just a few days later, at 2 p.m. on May 1st, our reporter sent the AG's office the text of the recording. We asked why this detail had not been disclosed to the public, but was
I mean that's good on James O'Keefe to email her first, right, and be like, hey.
Well, to a certain degree, they have to though for journalistic integrity.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but what I'm glad is that Pam Bondi actually came out and said it. But what I don't like is that she was essentially forced to, because if she didn't come out and say it publicly, he was going to post the video and then be like, so why aren't you telling people? Like,
well,
I mean?
Yeah, we've. I don't know if you want to make what it is I said yesterday, like public or like thing. I think you wanted to bring it up on Timcast. So I'm trying
I plan on asking Tim. I plan on asking Tim about that. So the exact question what Mad Stork's talking about is what would be a reason why Epstein would have actually offed himself? And Mad Stork brought up a very solid point. I don't know if you saw Joey's reaction to that, because I told him about what you said too, and he was.
I did not.
Yeah, I brought it up on, I think it was the Quiet Part pod. Him and Ale were blown away because I first posed the question, like, is there a possibility? And they were both like, no, there's no way. And then I brought up what you said, and they were like, oh, actually, huh? And so it made them think. It definitely made them think, and that's kind of what I want from Tim.
I've wanted I've wanted to know the truth for a while now, and I've had to come up with some sort of a cope. Let's call it cope. I've tried to come up with a cope in my mind as to why people essentially wouldn't be doing that. And the only cope that I can really come up with is there has to be a good reason that he would do it himself. And the only thing I can come up with is, something that he would find more valuable or precious. And a man at that age, the only thing that he would find more valuable and precious is something like his legacy or his family. And I don't know anything other than what it is I said to be
Yeah.
a thing
So
that would cause him to do that.
So for context, for people that didn't see the show yesterday, we were talking about Kash Patel. He was in a congressional hearing, and in the congressional hearing, he reiterated that he believed Jeffrey Epstein did in fact kill himself. He said that in the video. So I had a question that I was going to pose to Tim Pool in the panel last night, which I'm incredibly upset that I didn't get to do because I feel as though I had a very good question compared to the other questions that were chosen that night. And I really like Nick Sortor, so I was hoping to get to speak to him. But it's okay. I can call in on Monday, and the question will still be relevant. What is my question, you may ask? Question for the whole. So the question is for the whole panel on Timcast, and those of you in the audience, if you want to answer it, go ahead. Question is, Kash Patel recently reiterated that Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself and that the files would be released soon regarding his case. With that being said, does the panel think there's a possibility he truly did kill himself and the files Kash has proves it? Or is this something Kash is repeating until he can release everything, if/when he does? And what Matt Stork is talking about is, well, what would be a reason? Why would he actually kill himself or self-delete? I know I'm not supposed to say it on YouTube. I don't really care. Why would he do that? What is a valid reason as to why he would actually do that? Besides the fact that, the guards were asleep, cameras were off, his roommate didn't stop him. What was the reason, right? And Mad Stork brings up the excellent point. Well, parents would do anything for their children. If Epstein, given the life that he led, he likely has children, and they likely have access to some form of funding from all of his illicit activities, right? So all you do is you go to Epstein and tell him, hey, we know about so-and-so, your kids. We know that they get money from this place and there. You don't do this, then say goodbye to all of that. We'll make your children's life a living hell, and you'll get to watch all of it from prison. So, I mean, I think that's a really good theory, a really good possibility as to why he may have actually done it himself.
It's just an idea. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's accurate.
I'm not either. I'm just saying it's a really interesting. It makes you think, right? It makes you think about the case because we don't know. We don't know definitively if he did or did not. It's just the evidence would suggest that he didn't, but there is a world in which there's a reason for him to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, there has to be a reason if he did it that he did it.
Right.
And that's the best I can come up with. Now, it may be dumb, maybe stupid. Other people may have better ideas, but that was just the best situation I could give him for doing that. And honestly, a man who lives such a horrible, despicable life, that may, if that was the case, that may have been the closest thing to a good act a bad man ever had.
Right. And
I'm not saying he had good acts. I'm not saying he was just. I'm just saying that would be the closest
his final good deed.
Yeah, essentially. That would have been the only thing I could have ever seen that would have justified any of his acts in any part of his life. So good for him.
But good for James O'Keefe getting all this information out, because we had that story the other day with the royal family advisor. He got him, ish-faced drunk, and he was just spilling all the dirty details of the family. So that was another crazy story. And then again, we have this story from Pam Bondi. I want to play the rest of this clip because I do find it interesting. So I'm gonna go back to it.
instead being told to a random stranger at a restaurant. The Attorney General used almost the exact same language as she did with the stranger in the restaurant, language that we shared with her press office.
There are tens and thousands of videos. Yeah, and it's all with little kids.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, we hesitated to publish this story, but believe, like we did yesterday, that the public has a right to know. And this one raises serious questions. On one hand, why did our country's highest law enforcement official share this information first not with the American people, but with a self-described nanny at brunch? But more importantly, why was this information held back in the first place? Does this show that a government apparatus is still working behind the scenes to protect powerful people involved in the scandal? Based upon the response to our Epstein story yesterday, it's clear that the American people want answers, and they want accountability.
And so that's a great point to end on, because yeah, obviously there's people in our government that are still seeking to protect all the Epstein stuff. I'm sure they're trying to protect the Diddy stuff. That should be blatant and obvious. I've said repeatedly that the reason we haven't seen real movement on the Epstein case is because it would impact both sides of government. It's not just one side of government that's involved in this. You start going after people that are involved in this, you're talking about 25% of the current government at least.
I just had an idea.
What's that?
What if the reason they're not announcing it is because there is going to be friendly fire in the situation, and they don't want to upset the balance of power in the Congress until midterms?
I mean, I've made that theory too, right? Essentially, the reason Donald Trump isn't going as hard as he is, or his administration isn't going as hard as we thought they would, because Donald Trump's worried about losing the midterms.
No. I'm saying, what if they're trying to keep the current balance of power in Congress until the midterms, and if they release the information now, certain members of Congress who are on the Republican side will be caught in friendly fire. And if they do that, they have to do a special election to replace those congressmen. And they're afraid that Democrats would be elected. So they're keeping what they have now until the midterms, because they're waiting until then when they already have to get rid of them anyways.
I certainly hope that's not the case, because then you're literally letting pedophiles walk around the halls of Congress just so you could have that majority.
Well, the other bad thing about it is
wouldn't a bunch of Democrats get a special election too in that case, though?
Yeah, they would, but the bad thing about it is they're playing by the same playbook that they were playing by with Biden for the delay of action, essentially. And that's going to cost them the midterms, I think. For the same reason that Democrats had no shot of winning, I think Republicans are going to have a hard time winning because they're delaying the action of going against these people.
Yeah, they're not making any headway. They're just staying where they are, right?
Well, they keep saying that in the next couple of months they're going to start doing things. So,
I hope that's the case, I guess.
Yeah, I would start paying attention to which congressmen want to be out of the country for some sort of a trip soon.
Yesterday, Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, was at the White House. And
it started playing again?
This is what happens sometimes to Tim when we're watching something on Timcast IRL. Is he'll bring something up and then it'll start playing randomly. That's why he mutes the tab or whatever after it plays once.
Yeah. Oops. Well, I'm just trying to go back to my Rumble page because I want to be able to raid somebody. I want to send my viewers over to someone else. If I can. Let's see. Okay. Here's the Rumble link. Click the Rumble link. I don't know. Rumble's giving me the business right now. Just hard business. There we go. Allie said you had a good point. I don't know what that good point was, but I'm sure they were all good points.
I don't always have great points, guys. Sometimes they're shite.
That's fair, but you can't win them all. Let's see. Thoughtcast is live right now. Havel Gaming is live. Trying to see who's live at the moment. What time does the quartering go live?
I think 3-ish or something, 2 or 3-ish. I think because isn't he usually who Timcast reads out to?
Him and Russell Brand.
Yeah. So I think 3-ish or somewhere in there. 2 or 3-ish is when they go live. I forget. Are you gonna make me pull it up myself? Dang it.
Well, I can't even. I have my stream up now, but now I can't go anywhere else on Rumble. I'm trying to go to someone else's stream so I can go and raid them.
Ooh, I'm getting a 500 as well.
Okay, so it's not just me then.
Yeah, something's going on with Rumble.
Okay, Rumble's getting the business right now, guys. Maybe a DDoS.
Yeah. Either that or their servers essentially are just
Crapping out.
Yeah, maybe they're maxed out.
Well,
who
all right.
knows?
Well,
Things are happening.
Yeah, I tried to raid someone today, guys. But I can't. Rumble's giving me the business. I get an error code every time I try to do something. But I appreciate all of you fine and amazing people. We're going to be wrapping up the show here. We're going to close out with one more story if you have the time, Matt Stork. All right. So one more story. Let me just close all these other tabs. There we go. All right. Well, while we're wrapping up here with this final story, please, if you could hit that thumbs up button, follow if you're not doing that already, and comment down below. The live chats, they are not there after the stream ends. So if you want to leave a comment, is also greatly appreciated. I know Lynch Mob, he's not in here right now, but he comments on like every video. Great support from that guy.
Comment, and subscribe.
Wait, what? Oh, okay, yeah. Andrew Jacobs tweeted about it. Is Rumble video giving anyone else the business? Yep. So it's not just me. Andrew Jacobs having issues. Joey said he's having issues. Everyone's tweeting about it. Okay. Yep. It's not just me then, guys. You guys in the audience, do not refresh the page. Do not refresh the page. You won't be able to watch. But I got 14 viewers right now, 15 viewers, even with Rumble glitching. So hell yeah, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about was this clip from our favorite representative, Ilhan Omar. This is your favorite, right, Matt Stork?
I don't really know what to call her because you can't call her a brother lover, we'll say, because
cousin
he's gay,
cousin effer.
Yeah. You can't call him that because her brother's gay. So, and I'm going to make that as a definitive statement kind of thing, just for the record. So her brother.
So could her brother get with Brock?
With Brock? Like
yeah,
Brock?
Mama?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
After Michelle leaves, yeah.
Yeah. Things. But I'm making that as a definitive statement because I'm like 100% sure that's why. If you've read up any of the information on his illegal immigration to the United States, you would know that he was needing to leave England in a very quick manner because the Somali community there found out things about him that they didn't like.
Amazing.
Yeah. So anyhow, Ilhan, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if is it my mic doing that or is it your mic? I can't. There's the green border when we talk, and there was like this weird glitch happening when you were talking.
Weird.
I think it's fine. I don't know. I'm getting more viewers. There's people coming in for Rumble. Some of you guys that just came in, is Rumble working for you? Because it's not working for me. But we're still streaming, so it's all good. But so what did Ilhan Omar say? This is the last story before I gotta go. Our country should be more fearful of white men because they are causing most of the deaths within this country, according to Ilhan Omar. So let's listen to her speak.
Not true.
Should be fun.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
What?
I would say
What?
our country should
Play that last part, please, one more time.
Yeah. Okay.
And creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men. I would say
Creating
just go ahead and
policies.
pause it there.
What?
Do you know what the Black Hebrew Israelites are, Tyler?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how many of them there are in the United States?
It's like 13,000
1.5 million.
Black Hebrew Israelites.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't think it was that many.
Do you know how many people there are who are neo-Nazis, KKK, white supremacists, and everything else?
Like 10,000.
If you combine all of those groups, and I'm talking about the Aryan Brotherhood, the KKK,
Yeah, all of them combined, 10,000.
Less than 40,000.
Wow.
There's some overlap, so we don't know exactly how many because some of them are in multiple groups.
Yeah, they could be getting counted a couple times, but still.
Yeah. So less than 40,000. There are actually less than 20,000 in total in the largest group, and we know so somewhere between 20,000 and 40,000 in the entire United States.
That's insane.
I can't remember the statistic right off the top of my head, but the Black Liberation Army.
I thought you were gonna give me the 50-13 stat.
No. How many?
Which you could. I mean, that's relevant here.
Okay. How many people in the?
Hi, Andrew Jacobs. Yes, Rumble is giving all of us the business. I too am getting the business.
Yeah. Okay. So it won't give me a direct answer as to the current enrollment in the new Black Liberation Army.
Well, so angry white men, huh? They're the big threat in this country. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So the way you want to know how I found this clip? It was our vice president. Our vice president retweeted it. He said, "This isn't just sick; it's actually genocidal language. What a disgrace this person is."
Yeah. It literally is, and so that's one of the reasons that I can't. That I'm looking for this number. I'm asking Grok at this point because it's a hard
flip it
number
around.
to find.
Flip it around and say exactly what she just said, but about literally any other race. You would be shunned from society and blacklisted as a racist forever, especially by people like Piers Morgan. No, you flip this around and you say something like this against like black people, for example. You would be outcasted from society. You can't say that kind of thing about a whole race of people, especially something so inaccurate.
Yeah, it literally won't give me a statistic. Now, when I looked this up a long time ago, it was somewhere in an estimated like 50 to 60,000 range. And keep in mind, the new Black Liberation Army was basically like founded as a remnant of the original Black Liberation Army, which is what all of the bombings and everything else that were happening in the late 60s, early 70s, like everything that was going on there. So there are people who are violent in the United States, and that statistic I gave earlier for the Muslims and everything, like they're just like, yeah, around 30% of them are okay with self-deletion, violent self-immolation. Yeah. And so you're I don't know what these people are talking about anymore. They did this under the first Trump term, in the first Trump term, though, is they called for it. And every time a new Democrat president gets sworn in or at the beginning of the term, they have the FBI, the new director of the FBI that they appoint, comes out and says, white nationalism is the greatest terrorist threat in the United States. And it's not. It totally is not.
It's not an issue. Yeah.
No, there was anybody who doesn't follow or subscribe to Memology 101 on YouTube should check him out. Subscribe if you want to, kind of thing. I'm never going to tell people to subscribe. I'm always going to say, if you like the content, subscribe.
Yeah.
And check him out. He has a new video out with somebody saying something. Oh, it was what's her name? The Texas woman who's getting all the attention lately.
I forget her name, but the one that
the
said the N-word.
Yeah. No. She wasn't in Texas. I'm talking about the black lady, Jasmine Crockett. Okay.
Oh, that one.
He was talking about Jasmine Crockett, and she's parroting the same shit. She's parroting the exact same shit. And if you what she said is BLM is not violent, and literally on the Memology 101, it just goes from her saying that to all of the not even all of the statistics, some of the statistics from the Summer of Love riots when everything was going on. And it's like $1 billion in property damage. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about how they're incredibly not violent. It's fiery but peaceful.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't understand any of this shit anymore.
Yeah. I mean, Jasmine Crockett's an idiot. I love seeing the direction Democrat. I love and hate the direction Democrats are going, because I would love for them to go to a more moderate position. But if they refuse to go to a more moderate position, I'm also perfectly fine with them going more and more radical, because that'll just push more and more people out of their party.
Yeah, well, I want to see statistics on things like the Black Liberation Army. I want to hear things about the actual statistics under the new Black Liberation Army, because that is a thing, because one of their kids or grandkids started it up again, and that's why they have so many members in it now. I want to see things like this actually happen from Cash and the rest of them. And I want to see some of it being cracked down upon, because we know some of the people that are in these groups are some of the people organizing these mostly peaceful, actually, mostly violent, but kind of peaceful protests. I'm going to invert that shit. I was
going to say, it's usually the reverse, so you're not wrong.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm not going to say mostly peaceful but violent. I'm going to say mostly violent but peaceful protest.
Did you just drop an F-bomb on my shit? No.
I'm sorry.
Anyway. No, you did. I think that's the first time you've cussed on my show.
I'm sorry.
No, it don't. I literally dropped so many cuss words this show. I was just messing with you. Anyway,
there's a chatter in Timcast IRL, just for the record.
Yeah,
and it has been talked about many times how he has got.
Talk about the one we talk about in HQ steering.
Yeah. And his name is wonderful, and I don't know how he gets away with his name on Humble.
You talking about NF? You talking about NF
yes,
guy? Yeah.
And it's a reference to a Dave Chappelle skit.
iDubbbz used to say that a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Before he was cucked by an OnlyFans and turned into a twink.
Well, there you go. You go.
Anywho, I do need to get ready for work. So, final thoughts, Mr. Stork.
Nah, fuck it.
No thoughts. Empty-headed.
Totally empty-headed.
You know what Matt Stork's thinking? Matt Stork's thinking about how you can find him on After Dark on Monday. I'm pretty sure.
Thinking about how I want lunch.
That's fair. I also want lunch, but I'm also broke. I'm waiting to get my Rumble paycheck.
Well, you know what a Hope sandwich is, right?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of Hope sandwich. I'm gonna have a big fat Hope sandwich before work, and then when I get home, if I still haven't gotten the money in my account, I'm gonna have an even bigger Hope sleep. And then I will hope I get that money tomorrow.
I hope, by the way, that somebody's doing certain things at certain times this evening, because it is my anniversary, so I probably will not be on later.
Well, what's today? Today's Friday, right?
Yep.
Well, I hope Joey's doing his show today. He hasn't done it the past like 2 weeks.
Joey filled in for people yesterday, though, so he's like,
no, yesterday was his day.
Yeah, well.
Yesterday was his After Dark day.
I've asked people about schedules, and people have not presented schedules.
There isn't one.
I've been told by top men that there are schedules.
Well, well, then I need to be told what the schedule is again, because what I've been told is that Slick has Mondays, Joey has Thursday, Fridays, and then I'm basically like rotating Wednesdays with T-Bone when he feels like it. And technically I don't have Tuesdays, but I've been taking Tuesdays because the person that's supposed to have it is not active on the Discord and hasn't been this year. So
look, they explicitly told me when I came in there that there was more to being a mod than doing the After Dark, and that I should not count on it. And then they have forced me into that position twice in 3 weeks.
look, we have 30 volunteers and we can't get people to do shows for at least an hour 5 days a week.
All right.
We can't. There's 30 people and we can't get those 30 people to fill in for 5 days a week. Taking one of those days. I take 2 days. I take 2 days a week. Joey takes 2 days a week. Slick fills in. T-Bone fills in. Those are like the main people. T-Bone, Slick, Joey, and myself are the main ones that do the After Dark at the moment.
I don't know what to tell you. Rumble is still down for me. So.
Oh, okay. Wait, that was the update I was supposed to give. My bad, guys. Since we're still alive, might as well bring it up. I still have a moment. Right here. I was correct. I called it. Update: Rumble is experiencing a large-scale DDoS attack. So I called it. They are experiencing a DDoS.
We did get a Rumble rant. It is do the motion. Do the motion, Tyler.
What motion?
Do the motion for the thing. It's a $1 Rumble rant.
There.
You have to quote him. You have to read it out.
There. No, I couldn't find it.
You got to do the motion now.
What motion? What are you talking about?
Your hand is up. Just put your thumb up. That's all you got to do. There you go. Thank you for quoting the Rumble rant.
I had to quote that. Wait, here, I'll misquote it.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
Thank you very much, Andrew Jacobs. I appreciate the $1, especially with Rumble giving us the business today. But it looks like he got it working because he was able to get on Rumble and send that rant.
It may be on the app though, so who knows?
I don't know what's working and what's not. But anywho, I do have to go because I do have to get dressed and ready for work. So thank you as always, Mad Stork. Appreciate you coming on. We'll have you on again in the future.
Yep.
All right. Have a good one, Matt Stork. And then let me go back to the Rumble Studios, the Rumble of Studios. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in today. Thank you to Matt Stork for hanging out. And thank you to Andrew Jacobs, one of my biggest supporters, always tweeting out my stuff. Greatly appreciate that guy. And I got to get him on the show maybe this weekend, maybe next week. We'll figure it out. But thank you, everyone who supports the channel. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, all that good stuff. I'm staying in the stream just so I can watch. Yeah, because you can't get it up on actual Rumble, so that's fair. But yeah, no, thank you guys as always. I'm getting the business from Rumble, so I literally can't go and raid other people's stuff. Let me try one more time before we go, if it'll load. I'm just gonna try to load Thoughtcast, see if it'll let me pull up his stuff. It doesn't seem like it's gonna let me though. No, it's not working. Yeah, so Rumble's being attacked. This is why you need to support Rumble. This is why you need to support creators on Rumble, all that good stuff. Corey Critter? Sup, bro? Hello, Corey. Is that the Corey that I don't think that's the Corey I know. But hello, Corey. We're just talking about how Rumble is getting the business from everybody. Most of the viewers are over on Rumble right now. And we're getting the business. Rumble is experiencing a DDoS attack. So like I said, support Rumble, get the Rumble Premium, all that good stuff. I'm going to be doing some Rumble Premium content over the weekend. Whoa, I can get it. Oh, okay. Whatever, Mad Stark. I almost read that. Anyway, all right. I got to go. I really do have to get to work as much as I am procrastinating at the moment. Thank you guys for tuning in, like I already said, and have a good one. Here's an outro. Oh, God. Here it goes. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the video today. If you thought that was a great video, great live stream, great whatever you were watching, make sure you hit that like, thumbs up, whatever you're watching, hit that follow, subscribe, and if you really want to support me, you could always share the video and comment down below. But thank you guys so much. Make sure you follow on Rumble, YouTube, and X. Thank you, and peace out.